Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Great to have you here. You're watching The Electric Singularity. My name is Sam Evans, and I'd love it if you could subscribe to the channel or just smash a like if you like the video. As you know, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, I believe BYD is poised for enormous growth, not only in its business operations, car sales, and electric battery sales, but also in its share price. Now, as many of you know, BYD is owned in part by Warren Buffett, one of the world's greatest, if not the world's greatest investor in history. Now, Buffett or Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, actually own 8.4% of BYD and obviously perceive this as a huge growth opportunity. Now, BYD is now pressing ahead with plans to list its semiconductor unit on Shenzhen's ChiNext tech board. BYD says its legal advisors approve of the plan to go ahead with the spin-off and are listing the 72.3% owned semiconductor unit. Apparently, investors around China and around the world have cheered BYD's move for the semiconductor unit, and they've actually pushed the stock price up by around 5% since this news. BYD, the battery and car maker that counts Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway among its investors, has proposed a plan to spin off and list its semiconductor unit on the Shenzhen Stock Exchange. BYD Semiconductor, which is owned 72.3% by BYD, is fit for a separate listing on the mainland, according to the recommendation of its legal advisors. Mainland law firm Zhong Lun, BYD disclosed in a filing to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange on Tuesday evening. The Shenzhen-based carmaker's plan to list its semiconductor business on ChiNext, the Nasdaq-styled tech board, comes amid intense competition in the world's largest market for electric vehicles. A spin-off of its chip unit would enable the company to focus on its core business of new energy vehicles and batteries, and expand into urban rail transit, according to Zhong Lun. Now, for those of you who don't know, BYD actually builds sky rails. They build trucks, they build dump trucks, they build buses, they build electric cars, they also build petrol cars, they build plug-in battery and petrol-powered cars, they build a range of different utility vehicles, and they are currently in process of expanding their sales into countries outside of China. Now, obviously, BYD is the world's highest-selling electric bus manufacturer, and recently, they've published their joint venture with Toyota, which will enable Toyota to use BYD's blade battery, motors, and control systems, and a range of other electric components that BYD manufacture themselves. Now, this is one of the ways that BYD can actually keep the cost of their cars down. This was announced. The Hong Kong listed shares of BYD rose 5% to Hong Kong $149.10 in mid-afternoon trading, while its Shenzhen listed shares added 4.9% to 153.73. Guys, if you're interested in trading in BYD stock, you're not sure how to do it, I'll have a video up very soon, next week in fact, on how, in fact, not just how to do it, but the best way to do this, because it's not that easy if you're not based in the United States or in Hong Kong or China. Now, BYD first announced the spin-off plan in December of 2021, but they didn't say which exchange it would seek to list the subsidiary. So now they've said the spin-off listing of BYD Semiconductor will help it further improve the financing capacity and brand recognition, and therefore improve the sustainable competitive strengths in the long term, BYD said in its 2020 annual report. So clearly, part of the reason BYD are doing this is for marketing. Now, there's a number of Chinese auto companies, including NIO, Li Auto, and others, that have enormous valuations. In fact, the car maker in China with the highest valuation is yet to even sell a single electric car. Shocking, I know. See a link to the video in the description below on which company that is. BYD, however, has been selling electric vehicles for a number of years and has huge expertise in the area, second only in my belief to Tesla. But for some reason, BYD seems incredibly undervalued compared to other comparable Chinese car makers. In fact, not comparable, because they're clearly head and shoulders above the other car manufacturers in a wide range of areas. BYD's PE ratio, price to earnings, is about 92 right now, whereas the price to earnings of the other similar car companies, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, and others, is well over 1,000. Yep, they're all massively overvalued. BYD is undervalued. So marketing matters. Now, raising funds for its chip unit would directly benefit BYD. BYD Semiconductor is one of only a few companies worldwide and the only Chinese company that can independently produce insulated gate bipolar transistors, which are key components for reducing power loss and improving reliability in electric vehicles. Now, there's a reason Warren Buffett invested in this company and has been invested for quite a number of years without reducing or selling off his shares. Obviously, Berkshire Hathaway routinely sell out market positions. However, they have not done so with BYD. That should tell you something. In April, China's second largest maker of battery-powered electric cars by volume launched 2 new electric car models and updated 2 earlier models targeted at lower and middle income owners. In Australia and New Zealand, BYD are actually bringing in 6 new models of car. Guys, please don't write in the comment section that the cars are already selling in China. They're not. These cars coming to Australia and New Zealand are new models. They're actually, in some aspects, revamped versions of the existing models in China, but we won't be getting the current models on sale right now by BYD in China. They will be updated models or all new cars. One of them, the Quin Plus sedan, is priced from 130,000 yen or about US 19,800 and 166,800 yen after government subsidy. So obviously the low base model spec of this, the Quin Plus sedan, costs 19,800 US dollars in China and around about 30,000 US dollars for the top model. Premium brands like Tesla's Model 3 start at over 300,000 yen. So they're a lot more expensive. In other words, BYD are really going to, in my opinion, take over this market for low range, low cost, low price cars. Obviously, Tesla will join the market soon in a couple of years when they bring out the Model 2. But until that point, I believe the market is BYD's. BYD had a 12.9% share of China's new energy vehicle market in 2020, trailing the 14.7% share by SAIC, GM Wuling, and ahead of Tesla's 12.4%, according to data from China Association of Automobile Manufacturers. However, I believe this year BYD are making a bigger push with the Blade battery, and you can see it in their sales numbers. Over the previous quarter, their sales have doubled versus last year's first quarter. Really impressive sales results. BYD Semiconductor Unit develops, makes, and sells power semiconductors, integrated circuits, intelligent sensors, and optoelectronic devices. It owns an integrated industrial chain that includes chip design, wafer manufacturing, assembly, testing, and downstream applications. Now, you weren't aware, BYD's actually also been making mobile phone batteries since 1995. They have huge experience in manufacturing of electronic components, chips, and batteries. Before its listing plan, BYD Semiconductor had completed a couple of funding rounds from leading investors. In May 2020, it raised 1.9 billion yen, or US $265 million from 14 investors, which gave them a combined 20% stake in the subsidiary. The round was led by Sequoia Capital China Fund, CICC Capital, and SDIC Fund. Last year, the semiconductor unit made a net profit of 320 million yen and had net assets of 3.2 billion yen, according to Zhong Lun. Last year, BYD's profit was higher than any other Chinese automaker by some margin. In fact, I believe they made around 750 million US dollars in profit last year, which is pretty good for an industry, for a car maker that has enormous, and battery maker that has enormous growth potential and will obviously disrupt the current status quo. The spin-off and listing proposal is still awaiting approval of shareholders, Hong Kong and Shenzhen stock exchanges, and the China Securities Regulatory Commission. Those things are just a formality, and we can all assume that that will happen and this will go ahead. Like I said, I recommend, if you haven't already done so, to invest in BYD. I believe it's one of the companies that is going to grow substantially over the next decade as the world transitions to a sustainable future. Guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support. Please remember to subscribe and like. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.